On March 12, 2025, a Maryland father named Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia was deported to El Salvador despite holding legal protection status in the United States. His deportation has ignited a fierce debate between the Trump administration and immigration advocates. The administration insists he was a member of the MS-13 gang, but is there evidence to back that claim? How did an administrative error lead to his deportation? The Trump administration admits Kilmar Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported to El Salvador due to an administrative error. Garcia's legal protection, known as withholding of removal, was granted by an immigration judge in 2019 after finding he would likely face harm if deported. Despite this protection, he was detained and deported on March 15, 2025, to El Salvador's infamous Secot prison. The Trump administration claimed Garcia is a leader of the infamous MS-13 gang, which is one of the 8 Latin American criminal organizations declared as foreign terrorists. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated,
Good afternoon. Well, first of all, the error that you are referring to was a clerical error. It was an administrative error. The administration maintains the position that this individual who was deported to El Salvador and will not be returning to our country was a member of the brutal and vicious MS-13 gang. That is fact number one. Fact number two, we also have credible intelligence proving that this individual was involved in human trafficking.
Despite these claims, no concrete evidence has been provided to support the allegations. Court documents reveal Garcia has no criminal record in the United States. The allegations against Garcia trace back to 2019, when he was detained outside a Home Depot store in Maryland. Local police reportedly asked if he was a gang member, but found no evidence to support the claim. Garcia was then handed over to ICE, which cited a reliable informant identifying him as an MS-13 leader. However, police reports suggest that the informant's claim was never verified, and the officer who documented the claim was later suspended. Despite Garcia's legal protection status, ICE claims his deportation was a mistake. According to court filings, Garcia was not on the initial deportation flight manifest. He was only added as an alternate due to other detainees being removed from the flight. But why was he on the list in the first place? The administration argues it was simply an oversight. But immigration advocates are calling it a deliberate violation of due process. Garcia's deportation is part of a larger crackdown by the Trump administration.
He is an illegal alien from El Salvador, and he will not be living in our country much longer. He's in custody this morning. One of the top leaders right here near our nation's capital. And the most important thing, all of our agents were safe this morning, all of our law enforcement officers, and the bad guy is in jail.
The White House has invoked the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to deport alleged gang members, including Venezuelans, with supposed ties to the Tren de Aragua gang. Yet, many of those deported, including Garcia, have not been convicted of any crime in the U.S. Critics argue that the administration is using unverified claims to justify harsh deportations. Despite acknowledging the deportation as a mistake, the Trump administration refuses to bring Garcia back to the U.S. The White House argues that courts lack jurisdiction over foreign governments, making Garcia's return nearly impossible. Meanwhile, Democratic Senator Cory Booker voiced his concerns.
I read stories, Senator Smith, of people that were sent to that horrible jail in El Salvador that the government admitted they made a mistake. They disappeared someone who has American family members. Story after story I read that just are such a betrayal, not of democratic values, but of American values. Because we all in this body know we need to do more to protect our borders, to keep us safe, to arrest criminals, be they undocumented or documented. That's an urgency we all feel. But when you sacrifice your core values and you sacrifice them to a demagogue who says, this is all about your safety, when you sacrifice your core principles for your safety, you will achieve neither.
With Garcia's fate uncertain, his family continues to fight for his return. Immigration advocates warn that if the US government can deport someone with protected status, it sets a dangerous precedent.